Hi everyone, it's Lisa here and welcome back to Crochet with Lisa. Today I'm going to show you how to crochet these dog bandanas that are Halloween themed. They are customizable, so depending on the size of your dog's neck, you will crochet it accordingly. So I have two that are done here. One is a little bit smaller than the other one, and as you can see they both work. We have a spider applique on the top. So what I have used today for this project is Bernat Super Value yarn. It's just a yarn that's a medium weight of 4, so whatever yarn you can find that is orange, a weight of 4 will work. And also I have the black as well. I have used a 5.5 millimeter crochet hook. You will need a button to close your bandana. If you want to use Velcro instead, you can certainly use Velcro to close it, but I have used a button on mine, and the buttons are between like 3/4 of an inch to 7/8 of an inch would be about the right sizing. I also need a stitch marker, a yarn needle, and of course something just to cut your yarn with. The first thing that you need to do is decide what size bandana you need to do for your dog. So this is very customizable. I'm going to use this collar from one of my dogs that we no longer have, and I'm going to measure this one. I'm just going to lay a ruler here. I'm going to start at one end. We're going to need the overlap. See where our collar clips into itself? We need that overlap because we're going to be putting a button on it. So I'm going to go from the very end over here all the way to the end here, which shows about 16 inches. So I need to make a chain that is going to be 16 inches when I'm finished. So I'm going to start with the black. I'm going to start with a slip knot. And I'll do my chain and then I'll meet you back here when it is 16 inches long. I've just finished my chain, and it is 60 chains long to make it to 16 inches. I move my ruler. Okay, I'm just going to add one more chain because that's going to be our turning chain. I know this is black, it's hard to see, but we're simply just going to do a single crochet in each chain all the way across. And I'll meet you at the end of this row. I'm at the end of the row and I have 50 single crochets all the way across, one in each chain. Now maybe you're working with 50 chains or 44 or 68, it doesn't matter, just as long as it is the right number that will fit around your dog's neck. So we're at the end of the row. We're going to chain 1, turn, and we're going to single crochet again in each single crochet all the way across. You should still have 60 single crochets if that was your number, whatever number you had. I'll meet you at the end of this row. I'm just approaching the end of the second row, so make sure you get a single crochet in all of your V's. Don't miss this last one. Okay, chain 1, turn. Now in this row we're going to put our buttonhole. We will have 5 rows of black crochet. So this will be our middle one, number 3. So single crochet in that first one, chain 1, that's going to be where our buttonhole is. We're going to skip 1 stitch, and then we're going to single crochet in the next one. Okay, so then we're just going to continue single crocheting all of them all the way across. When you get to the end, chain 1, turn, and then you're going to work all your way back, and I'm going to meet you probably 4 or 5 stitches before you end that 4th row. So we're working on the 3rd, crochet all the way across, chain 1, turn, then come back. That's your 4th row. Don't finish your 4th row though, and I'll meet you back here. I'm approaching the end of row 4, and there are 1, 2, 3, 4 stitches left. So I will go until I have 2 left. And so this second last one is a chain 1 space. So I'm just going to do a single crochet in that space, and then single crochet in the last one. And now I'm back to 60 single crochets. So that was row 4. I need to do 1 more. So chain 1, turn, and I'm going to single crochet in each single crochet all the way across. Again, I'll meet you at the end of this row. Okay, I'm just approaching the end of the 5th row, and this is my last row of black. So in my last stitch, I'm going to start it with the black, but I'm going to finish it with my next color, which is the orange. And chain 1. So I'm just going to cut my black. Then I'm going to actually tie my orange and my black together. That's what I like to do. You may have your own way. Okay. So now we're going to do 2 rows of orange. Just like the black, there will be, on my collar, there will be 60 single crochets, but I'm going to actually, I'll put these on the other side, and I'm going to carry them along with me for about half a dozen or 10 stitches. I'll just carry them. It's about a half a dozen stitches. And I'm just going to continue on. I'm going to complete 2 rows of orange. So I'll single crochet all the way across, chain 1, turn, and single crochet all the way back over here. And that's where I'll meet you. I have finished my 2nd row of orange, so I have 5 rows of black, 2 rows of orange. Now we're going to start decreasing. So I'm decreasing from 60 single crochets. Doesn't matter where you're decreasing from. You can have an odd number or an even number. It's not going to make a difference at the end. So this is how we're going to do it. Chain 1, turn. We're going to decrease at the beginning and the end of each row. So for the beginning of the row, we're simply going to skip the first single crochet, and we're going to single crochet in the next one. Right there, that will decrease 1 stitch, and just single crochet all the way across. At the end of the row, we're going to skip our second last single crochet. So I still have 1, 2, 3, 4 to go. So I will single crochet in 2 of those. Now I have 2 left, so I'm going to skip the second last one, and I'm just going to single crochet in my last one. So now I have 58 single crochets. Chain 1, turn. Okay, on this row we're going to decrease again. I'm going to skip that very first single crochet and single crochet into the next one. and a single crochet all the way across. When I get to the end, I am going to skip the second last one. So I'll crochet in the third last one, skip the second last one, crochet in the last one. And that will bring me from 58 single crochets to 56 single crochets. Continue doing that all the way down, so this will shape into a V for the bandana. And when you get to the very bottom, either you're going to have 1 single crochet left or 2 single crochets left. I'll meet you there. I'm just approaching the end of my decreasing rows. I have 2 stitches left. I did my last chain 1. Now I'm going to turn, so I have 2 left over here. I'm just going to skip 1 and single crochet in the last one, and then just fasten off. Okay, so the main part is finished. Now we're just going to put a border along the outside. So turn to one of your top corners, and this is where we're going to start our border row. So I'm going to do black. Just bring this one back over here. So this is what we're putting on, this black border. So I'll grab my black yarn. I'm going to go into that very top corner. Bring my yarn through, and I just like to tie mine. Should need to flip this. Here we go. Okay, so I'm going to go back into that same space, yarn over, pull up a loop, chain 1, then I'm going to do a single crochet in that same space. And I'm going to go next to it and do another single crochet. So I'm just going to evenly space single crochets along the edge of this bandana. So just continue like that. Let me get to this corner down here, right in this very bottom corner of the bandana. When you go in through here, do 3 single crochets in there. Actually, maybe I'll just meet you down there and I'll go over that one with you. So continue along this side till we get to this corner, and then I will meet you there. Okay, so I've just finished my single crochets along this side. I'm at the very bottom corner. So I'm just going to go into that space and do 3 single crochets. 1, 2, just keep that orange tail to the side, 3. So that will help turn this corner. But another reason why I wanted to meet you here is because of this orange tail. So just keep that with you as you do your single crochets up this side. Just carry it along, maybe 6 to 10 single crochets. And then you can either snip it off, or I always like to, if I carry the orange tail this way, I'll turn around and I'll go back that way again, just to make sure it's pretty secure. Okay, so continue along this side, single crochets, and I'll meet you up here at this top corner. All right, so I'm at this top corner, and I always like to do a double border row. Just to me, it looks a little bit better. So when we're at this corner, we're just going to chain 1, turn our work, single crochet back into that same space, and then just single crochet in each single crochet all the way around. The only one that you have to do a little different is down in this corner. We get down to the point. So in that very middle single crochet, put 3 single crochets in there again. And then just continue single crocheting in each single crochet till we get back to where we started. I'll meet you over here. I have just finished this second round with the single crochets, and we're just simply going to fasten off. I'm going to snip my yarn. Okay, so we are done this part of the bandana. Just go ahead and weave in all of your ends, and then I'll meet you back here. All of my ends have been woven in, and the bandana could be used just like this if you want. Still nice and Halloween-y looking. But now I'm going to show you how to add the web, and then we'll do the spider. So for the first thing, I'm going to decide where I want the middle of my web. So here is the middle of my bandana, side to side. And I think I'm going to go right about here. So I'll keep that space, and I'm going to come up from the bottom. I'm just going to pull that through. I'll leave a length of yarn at the back so I can fasten that. So I'm just going to make a line going down. So how I'll do that is I'll go a few stitches down. I'll go in, then I'll come out straight below, so now I'm going to come down a couple more. I'm just going to leave this orange right now. I'll come back and I'll fill in the rest of the line. So a couple more, or a few more stitches down. In and out. Then I'll go in down here at the very bottom. I'm going to come back out right there. So now I'm working back this way. So I'm going to go in here. And come out right next to that one. In here. And I'm coming back out where I started. Make sure my yarn is secured. So I'm going to do the same thing up here and then back again. Okay, so I'll meet you back here when we've got this line finished. So I finished this line of my web, and my yarn is in the middle again. So this is exactly where I started. So we're going to do the same thing, except we're going to make our line go to the side this way. We'll work it back, then we'll go this way and back again. So I will meet you back here after making this line. So again, just go over a little bit, go under and up. just keep working that line to the side, all the way over, come back here, work over this way, and then come back again. And then we'll look at the next part of the web. I'm back again, and I have finished this side and this side. So now we need to do 4 more lines. We need to put one on a diagonal this way, this way, this way, and this way. So we're going to work it the same way that we did the first 4 lines. Okay, so I don't have a lot of yarn left, so after I do this line, I'll probably have to add some more yarn. So same thing, just look at maybe halfway between these two and decide that you're going to end over there. Doesn't have to be perfect. Okay, so this time you don't have these lines to follow or your stitches this way, but that's okay. So just make these 4 diagonal lines, so 1, 2, 3, 4, and then I'll meet you back and we'll work at the next part of the web. So I've just finished the last line for the web, so there are 8 of them. 1, 2, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now we're going to put this section on the web. So we're just going to do 1 round of these, and I'll show you how I'm going to do that. So my yarn is still attached from my last row that I made, or my last line that I made. And just going to kind of eyeball it, and I think I'm going to go like from here to here to here with those lines. So from the back, because my yarn is down here, I want it to go up a little bit more, so I'm just going to kind of weave it through the black so I don't have big loops of yarn on the back. So I've just moved it up here, and I'm going to go right here. So I'm going to make one that comes like this. Now this will be one long piece of yarn. So I'm going to go in over here. But I don't want this piece of yarn to be straight. So what I'm going to do, just going to come up over about here, and I'm going to move my black yarn over it. So I'm just going to put one little stitch in right here. So I've come over my black yarn, and then I'm just going to go back in the same place where I came up. So it's not exactly a curve, but it's close enough that I'm happy with it. So that's one of those. I'm going to work my way around. I'm going to come back up over here. Then I want to look to see where I want this. So probably over about here. So same thing, I'm going to bring my yarn over here. That makes a straight line. I don't want that, so I'm going to go back. Probably about here. I'm going to go back down in the same place where I came up, just making that stitch, get that straight piece of yarn there. Just going to continue doing that all the way across. So we've done 2, we need to do 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So I'll meet you back over here when all 8 of these have been made. Alright, so I finished that part of the web. Again, this could be the end of your bandana. You can keep it right here. It looks pretty cute just like it is. Now the next part is to make the spider. So we're going to need 2 circles for the spider. I've already made mine and I will demonstrate them for you using a better color than black because black is so hard to see. So we're going to need just 2 circles. This one here ends up with 18 single crochets around. This one here has 24. So if you know how to do that, go ahead. If not, I will show you how to do that. I'll just use my orange. You may want to start with a magic circle. I'm just going to start with a chain 2. So slip knot, chain 1, 2. So I'm going to go back to that very first chain, and in there I'm going to put 6 single crochets. So 1, 2, now before I go any further, I've just made 2, and I'm going to put a stitch marker right there in that first one. So that's 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So here's our stitch marker. I'm going to remove that. And in that very same stitch where I just took that stitch marker out from, I'm going to put 2 single crochets. So 1, 2, okay, and I'm going to put that stitch marker back. So 1, 2, make sure it goes in that first one that I've done. So that was 2 in that first one. We're going to put 2 single crochets in each single crochet all the way around. So I've already done 2. In this next one I'm going to put 2 more, so that's 3 and 4. The next one I'm going to put 2, 5, 6. Next one I'm going to put 2, that's going to be 7, 8. The next one, 9, 10, and in the last one, put 2 more, so that's 11, 12. You can just pull on this middle piece of yarn and that will close up your circle. So we'll remove our stitch marker. Now in this round, we're going to put 1 in that first one, so this is where I just took out my stitch marker. I'm going to put 1 in there, and then I'm going to mark it again. And in the next one I'm going to put 2. So that was 1, 2, 3. So 1 in the first one, 2 in the next, that makes 3. And in our next 2 we're going to put 1 in here, 2 in here. So I always like to count as I go along. So I've done 3. So this will be 4. That's just 1 in there. The next one there's 2. 5, 6. The next one I'm going to put 1 in there. That's going to be 7. And 2 in the next one. That's 8, 9. Do the same thing here, so 1 and then 2. So I have 9. This will make 10. 2 in this one is 11, 12. 1 in this one, 2 in this one, so that's 13. And then 2 in the next one, so 14, 15. I've got 2 stitches left. So this one I'm going to put 1 and this one 2. So I had 15, this is 16, and 17, 18. So that's my last 2. So I'm going to remove this stitch marker. So this circle is finished, but I'm just going to slip stitch into my next one. Chain 1. Then I'm going to cut a length of yarn because I'm going to use this for sewing. So just pull that through. So here is the head part of the spider. Now, this was our center one. This is what I like to do. To make sure this circle is not going to open. I do this with my magic circle as well because I don't quite trust them to stay closed. So that's why I just don't even do a magic circle anymore. So just go one way, go under a few stitches there, pull that nice and tight, and then go back the way that I just came. And then once more back into that direction where I just came from again. So that should be nice and secure. Okay, so there is the head part. Now we have to make the body part. Same thing, I'm gonna make a chain of 2, so it's like a slip stitch to begin with. I mean a slip knot. Chain 2, 1, 2. So we're going to go into that first chain. We're going to do exactly the same as we did for this one here. So we'll bring it up to the 18 single crochets, and then I'll meet you back here after you have 18, so then you're not going to fasten off. Okay, I'm just working on the body part. So I have 18 single crochets around, so that's exactly the same as the head part, but we need to go one more round. So I'm going to remove my stitch marker, and in there I'm going to put 1. Then I'm going to replace the stitch marker. So I did 1 in the first one, 1 in the second one. So that's 1, 2, and in the third one I'm going to do 2. So 3, 4. I'm going to repeat that all the way around. So I'm going to put 1, 1, and then 2. 1, 1, and then 2. At the end of the row there should be 24. So I have 4. I'm going to put 1 in here. 5, 1 in here, 6, 2 in here. So it's 7, 8. 1 in here is 9, 1 in here is 10, then 2 in this one is 11, 12. 1 in the next one, 13, 1 in the next one, 14, and then 2 in the next one, 15, 16. 1 is 17, 1 is 18, 2 is 19, 20. Then 1 in the next one is 21, 22, 1 in the next one, and in the last one there's 2, 23, 24. So I'm going to remove that stitch marker, do a slip stitch in there, cut a length of yarn for sewing. Okay, just chain 1 and then just pull it through. So we have these 2 pieces. Now I'm going to sew on, of course, the black ones, not the orange ones. So I'll take these orange ones out of here. For this bandana on the spider, I did just use some white yarn and I just made 2 little stitches there for the eyes. For this one here, I decided that I'm going to try and use these little plastic eyes. So I have to set that up first. Where the tail comes off of the head and the body, that's where I'm going to overlap them. Okay, see that? Where this tail is here and this one, that's where they're going to overlap. Just like I've overlapped this one on top of that one just a little bit. So the eyes are going to have to be on this side. If you don't have these type of eyes, that's fine. You just have to just take a different color yarn. You could use white, you can use yellow, you could use red, whatever color you want. Just going to put them in like this. So I'm just going to set up the spider just in this position. I'm going to get, oops, my yarn needle here. And I'm just going to stitch this black circle onto the bandana. So I'm just going to go down, and I'll come back up. Down and then up. So I'll just do that all the way around the circle, and then I'll meet you back over here. I have sewn the circle on this way, and I've gone ahead and I've added 4 little spider legs on this side of the body. Made sure that they worked well with the head over here. Okay, so now I'm going to sew on the head part. So using the same technique as sewing the body on, I'm going to sew the head on just so it's overlapping the body a little bit. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and I will sew the head on, and then I'll meet you back. So I finished sewing the head on, and I put the other 4 legs on this side of the spider. So now the last part is just to sew the button on. So this is the side we're going to sew it on because we have the buttonhole on this side. It's right there. So you get your button and then just sew it right there. The bandana is finished. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial today and you found it easy to follow. Please like my video and subscribe to my channel, and you can follow along with some other great projects. So have a great day and happy crocheting!